So 9 years ago, I quit my job as a cryonics lab. For those people who want to freeze themselves for 1,000 years, hoping to wake up in a better world. My job was to make sure their frozen bodies would stay safe and sound for all that long. No pressure, right? I mean, how do you even design a building to last for a millennium? Well, what if there's a zombie apocalypse or a giant meteor or another global pandemic? How do you guarantee your clients won't end up as popsicles for some alien invaders? Or in a zoo? I mean, given that nothing lasts forever, what is a literally sustainable design? Well, good luck finding any answers on the internet. Most of what you'll find are a bunch of greenwashing products and programs that claim to be eco-friendly, but they're actually just as bad, if not worse, than status quo. I mean, they promise to have a net zero impact, but they don't tell you how they measure that, or what they do with the waste, or how they exploit the workers, or how they bribe the politicians. I mean, they don't care about your future. They primarily care about their profit. What made me just about give up, though, was when I was working on a huge map for San Antonio, a map that showed all the infrastructure, planned and the existing. A map that revealed a shocking truth. 25% of the pipes underground, they're old and rotten. They're leaking, cracking, bursting, contaminating the water supply. They were violating the Clean Water Act, and the city was facing like $1 billion fine if they didn't fix them. How do you even explain that to the voters? How do you tell them they have to fork over billions of dollars for something they never asked for, never see, never care about? How do you tell them they have to pay for flushing toilets? So that's the burning question. How could we create a truly sustainable human world? A world where we don't ruin everything for ourselves and our kids. A world where we don't have to worry about climate change, pollution, resource depletion, or extinction. A world where we can have a harmonious story between us and nature. After a year, I was so stressed out by this question that I decided to seek some spiritual guidance. I ended up cooking breakfast for this Tibetan monk. He was very nice, very wise, very bald. But over some scrambled eggs and coffee, he asked me what was bothering me. What did I want to learn? I babbled on about my interest in impermanence, fractal geometry, psychology, storytelling. And he stopped me and he said, storytelling. That's it. That research needs to be done. So I did. I quit my job and I packed my cats and I moved to Cyprus. Here I read a lot of books and articles and I came across this amazing story about two Australian researchers who were following a song line. Now, a song line, it turns out, it's like an epic GPS the Aboriginal people use to navigate the land. They sing the stories, and if they're going in the right direction, the landforms along the way correspond to the characters in the story. Okay, so the year's 2014, and these researchers are walking along singing their little hearts out when suddenly they're standing in the sea. They thought, maybe they messed up somehow. Maybe they took a wrong turn at the burning bush. But then they realized maybe the song continues under the water. And sure enough, they found the rest of the landmarks submerged in the sea on oceanic charts. This songline was so old, it dated back to the last ice age when the sea level was that much lower. This songline had survived for like 10,500 years, passed down by word of mouth for at least 500 generations. Now, that's longer than any cryonics project I've dreamed of. Probably more fun. Well, this blew my mind. How can we use this ancient technology to shape our future? Maybe we could leverage continuity going backwards to go forwards. How can we tell our stories to the land like that and make them stick? Well, it turns out it's just that simple. You need to map your stories. The stories you tell yourself or your friends or your therapist. Meaningful stories. The stories that make up who you are and where you come from. All those stories have a setting, and a setting can be mapped. Imagine our stories like a tapestry, and when we lay them out on the land, we could see how the threads of each other's stories intertwine, and how they tug at each other, how they harmonize. And with this knowledge, we can spin new tales that build upon the old, like weaving new threads to fill in the worn holes of our tapestry. And mapping our stories isn't just for personal insight. We could use them to guide decisions about our neighborhoods, climate, immigration, business, development, isolation. We can make sure that everything we do is in harmony with our stories, or at least not contradicted. Now, just to live together, we need to know where each other are coming from. The Aboriginal people of Australia showed me that the stories mixed with the land can last for thousands of years. So using stories of the people here in Famagusta, I made a prototype of map of stories, that we and our descendants could adapt and evolve over the changing world here. Stories that could last for 10,000 years or more. Now, we all know there are gaps in the structures that support our society. In order to enable communities to plug those gaps, we need to build a narrative infrastructure now, one that maps stories and communities across the world. With narrative tools and GIS, we can create a narrative infrastructure for the future. A future that's not on ice, but alive with stories. Thank you very much.